Welcome to the RVA Returners Podcast, your newest source for all things Final Fantasy TCG.
Drinking and just a steady downward spiral until his English was not good. The bathroom was a mess. But you know what isn't a mess? The next episode of the RVA Returners Podcast. Guys, welcome back. We are fresh back from Kansas City. I'm your host, as always, Chris Adams, and with me, Adam Lane, and I got a special guest here today, just for you, Cody. Just for you, for Cody and the St. Louis crew. Do you hear that soothing sound? We've got Top 8 Johnny here with us. Oh, yeah. Romantic dinner for two. So, yeah, we had a good weekend. We're going to be unpacking that. But first, how we like to always get started here on the podcast, we like to get going with the news. We have no news this week, guys. There are a lot of spoilers from between the last episode and now, but we are kind of doubling your pleasure this week. We're doing 2 episodes, and we're going to save, because we really want to unpack Kansas City in this episode, right? Like, that's kind of the main focus. It's still fresh in our minds. We don't want to forget anything. We had some moments, and next week we're kind of doing a special kind of fun episode right before Opus 6. We're going to talk about the spoilers, because the set may even be completely released by then.
Well, the pre-release is the week after, so
Right.
we'll have a lot. We already have a ton of cards.
That's what I'm saying. And usually the sets were released like the week before, typically.
Oh, that's
so
true,
maybe
yeah.
by Sunday,
Maybe.
the whole set will be released, so we
Maybe.
can maybe even go down that. But we're also going to be doing what we think. We've talked about this for a while. What we think the top 10 of each card type is, like top 10 forwards, top 10 backups. So it'll be a fun episode. We're going to have a little kind of compare, contrast, kind of debate. But with that being said, let's go ahead and unpack Kansas City. Let's dive in. It was a great time.
It was a ton of fun.
Dude, it was an absolute blast. It was my second Crystal Cup. I wish my tournament this time was as good as the last one, but the one thing that was pretty much unforgettable is just the people there. When people were like, "Oh man, we love your podcast." That was huge.
Yeah.
That was huge. But we'll dive into more of that as the show goes on. But I'll start with myself. Since I didn't have, again, my tournament was not as good as I did in Boston. I did not make day 2 this time. I finished 4-3. It's kind of the opposite story of Boston, whereas Adam didn't make the cut and finished 4-3.
Yep.
But we'll let him tell his journey when we get to him. But for me, my deck choice was as expected. I played Fire Ice, and I was very confident in my deck choice. I knew how to beat monsters, and I very confidently can beat monsters. The mono water for Soya decks, I knew how to beat those. I was ready for like the wind lightning, the wind earth decks, the Dalaluma Cactar decks. I was ready for all of that stuff. I was ready for mono ice. Didn't play really any of that.
Yep.
First round I played against mono water for Soya, so there was that one. Against a great guy, I believe his name was Alexander. Really awesome guy. Kind of newer to the game. He was looking for podcasts. I was like, well, you are sitting across from the right person. Let me tell you about one. And proceeded to show him the playmat, the RVA Returns playmat. I was like, give us a look, give the Choker Bros a listen. There's a lot of good content out there for newer players, so keep that in mind. We had a really good game. He was confident. Just because a player is new does not mean they're not confident in the game. Proceeded to kind of roll over him pretty quickly. So, I was done. The typical game was over in 5 minutes. So I was like, all right, well, maybe we're going to have a repeat performance. Next round, I get paired against Joe. Not just any old Joe. Joe, I believe his last name is Lazinski.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay.
He might have won a national championship.
He may have won a national championship in this game. I knew the name, but I didn't know the face until we sat down. I was like, wait a minute. And we actually had a really good match. He was on mono ice. I was on a Fire Ice. And the match went exactly as I knew it would. That matchup to me is a 50-50, right? Whoever gets out ahead first is 100% going to win. And it was a very close match. He just happened to get Sid. He even said at the end, that Sid Allstain that he dropped, there was it was the perfect card at the perfect time. And it was a very close match. And we talked about it a little bit afterwards, but mono ice taught me there. And once he pulled ahead with the Sid Allstain, that's kind of how that matchup goes again. So, great match. So now I'm down to 1-1. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I can take an early L from a good player. Because when you start, because that's when when you go to a tournament like that and there's killers in the room, you don't just think about, because you don't want to, you want to have the mindset that you can win them all,
But if you do lose, you want to hope it's to a player of that caliber, so those tiebreakers help you out when it comes time for the cut. Like that's just a realistic part of going to a major event. So I'm thinking, okay, this is fine. I'm 1-1. That was a good match, you know. I got the juices going. Then I played against another guy. He was on Wind Lightning.
Mm.
He just got all the draws. He saw all 3 Barbarisha Cactars.
Yep.
And I never saw a Duke Larg, which is kind of gets around all of that.
Yeah, that's the card you need.
Yeah, so every time I would play a forward, while I'm sitting here drawing for looking for a Duke, I get a Duke Larg, I turn this ship around, never saw one. Every time I place the board, it's like, oh, cool, Barbarisha Cactar. It's like, well, all right, next turn, Barbarisha Cactar. Next turn, Barbarisha Cactar. Next turn, Cactar Orlando. Next turn, it was Cactar Ramo. I was like, well, I just can't get caught up. So, lost there. And again, this guy was to a newer player. So I wasn't again. He played the deck right. He saw all the answers. When your deck sees the answers, you're gonna win. And I knew what my outs were. I didn't see my outs. It happens.
Yep.
But now I'm down to 2. I'm 1-2 going into round 3. I'm like, there's a good chance day 2 is just completely out of the picture for me already, because we catch them early L's. And those people don't do well. Like, now it's on the flip side of what I just said. Like, if you catch early L, and those people work their way back down to the scatacombs, your tiebreakers just don't work out in your favor. So there can be that kind of polar opposite there. So I'm 1-2. I'm starting to I think I'm starting to kind of defeat myself here. And then something happened. We go to round 4, and I sit down across from my opponent. While I am kind of bummed, I pull out my play mat, and I'm kind of just really going through like the numbers in my head. Like, I've already kind of like taken myself out of the tiebreaker equation. The guy across from me says, "Are you Chris Adams? Do you do the RVA Returns podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, "Nice to meet you." And he said, "Hi, my name is Anthony. You can call me Tony." Then the guy next to him says, "Oh, we love your podcast." The guy next to him was like, "Oh, cool, nice to meet you. We love your podcast." The person next to me is like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that was you." And it happened like all the way down the table. That end, like, I'm literally surrounded by fans of the show. That kind of turns the frown upside down.
Yep.
I'm thinking, man, that's awesome. Like, that's really, really cool. Even in this kind of moment where I should be kind of salty, that I'm kind of out of the picture already. I was like, man, that's really cool. We are reaching out to people. But hold on. So I'm playing against Tony, and I draw my hand. No backups. I'm like, oh man, I can't keep this. I need some backups, right? Draw my next hand. All right, cool, no backups. Well, I have a save-in. Let's see what I can work with here. Let's jam the save-in, see what happens. Well, I jam the save-in, turn 1, pass, and I get out-sitted. I was like, oh shit, this is mono lightning. Had no choice. I know how to recover from this.
Mm.
So on the next turn, I play a Genesis. I still don't see any backups, mind you. So I play a Genesis to stop the party attack next turn. He drops Gilgamesh. Now, in Mono Lightning, there's one Gilgamesh you expect.
Starter
Gilgamesh. That's not what he dropped. There was a strongest sword Gilgamesh sitting across from me. So even then, I'm like, okay, maybe he just wanted to put a body on to pressure. Because I know I've seen some lists that run that Jeggy thing in there just as like fodder for the other Gilgamesh special. But it's at this point when I'm 1-2, I'm in the scatacombs. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see that Gilgamesh in a Mono Lightning deck. But then something happens after that. He Gilgamesh specials on his next turn. And then I'm like, wait a minute. What is this? Is this some kind of Golbez with Al Cid? And then, like, the next thing happens. He drops a Zemus. Then he drops an Amon. And then as he's playing these cards, I'm looking at what he's discarding. In his break zone, I'm seeing, like, mannequins. I see X-Death, and I'm like, stop the fucking presses. What am I looking at here? It was Oops All Forwards Mono Lightning Edition. I just got beat. And that was it. I was just like, well, I just scooped my cards up. I said, Tony, it was a great game. Nice meeting you. Thank you guys for your support. I'm going next door. Next door being the bar. Because, lunch break was after round 4, and I was like, well, I've got a 20-minute head start, so let's go. So I'm going to go drink my sorrows away. Well, I go over there, and Steven, one of our other teammates, is there, and he's kind of having the same day I am. He just, he top 8'd Charlotte, so and he is a good player. He's a consistently good player. He comes here and just does not have a good day of cards.
Yeah.
So we're next door. We're talking about our day, and lo and behold, Tony, the guy that I just lost to, was there. And you know what? I could have been a jerk. I could have been bitter, but then I was like, you know what? The tournament's over for me. Let's flip it. Let's go into PR mode. We got all these people here supporting us. I was like, Tony, come over here. Hang out with us for a minute. I want you to sit up, belly up to the bar with us. We're getting ready to eat some food. Talk to me. Tell me about where you're from, what you're seeing like. So we just start shooting the shit casually. Tells me he's from, I believe he's from Madison, Wisconsin. Says there's not, they're trying to grow a scene up there. Him and his other friend named Tony. They were really nice guys.
Yeah.
Had a chance to just really talk to them over the weekend. They're not new to the game, but they're really trying to put a scene together up there. I know there's a couple smaller. I want to say there was another guy. One of my other opponents was from Wisconsin. I believe his name was Brian Cole. I was like, hey, you should probably go talk to him. I don't know if he's from Madison, but I know he's from Wisconsin, right? Mm-hmm. So it was nice. It was nice. And then I'm just knocking back beer, so I just all the shits I give are just completely going down the gullet with this beer. So we do that. Next round starts. I'm still drinking beer, and I tell Adam and all of them, it's like, hey. When the next round starts, next round I go back over. I skipped ahead. Next round we go back in. I play. I don't care anymore. I'm just hanging out, having a good time. I play against an ice lightning deck. Oh, I stomp it like 7-2. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go back next door. So we're drinking. I'm hanging out with some of the guys that we came up with, and some people that are just over there. Just kind of hobnobbing over some alcohol. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to finish my beer. Let me know when the next round starts. Well, next round starts, and I'm a few minutes late because I just see the message. It just never went off. So I go in there, and apparently y'all were vouching for me, saying, hey, he's next door. He's coming.
Well, I heard it at first, and I was like, oh, I guess Chris just dropped. Like, that was my thought. My thought process was like, you had dropped. And I mean, people drop when they especially 3 loss in a tournament like that. But I know you said you wanted to play it out. But in my mind, I figured you just dropped. But then Curtis was like, oh, he's coming back over.
Yeah.
And so then, once I heard that, I was like, oh, Curtis got it. So
I'll never drop at a major tournament.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take that back. If I was like 0-6 going into the last round, I'd be like, well, why bother? But it would take me that long. But hopefully, I know I'm a good enough player for that not to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Famous last words, right? But anyway, so I come back over, and I'm a little late, and I feel bad because my opponent, real nice guy. His name was Chris. I can't remember his last name, but I remember him being a UFS player. Which that's actually a really good game. So I kind of I was able to talk to him about that a little bit, but I had a kind of a shithead moment. So I sit down, and the judge is like, hey, you're a little late to the table. I thought I was going to get a game lost. So I'm feeling loose right now. I'm prepared to be like, okay, whatever. But he's like, we're gonna let your opponent pick, play, or draw, and I was like, okay, you can go first if you want, don't care. And he was like, and you'll get an extra 3 minutes. He was playing it looked like mono wind chocobos, like hasty birds and stuff like that. I proceed to run over him too. And that doesn't sound like an asshole moment, but the asshole moment is when we call the judge over to look, because in those tournaments, Johnny, before you finish, you call the judge over and you leave your damage and everything out so they can see it, they can record it, they sign the slips just like you do. Okay. And the same judge came back over and signed our slips, and I looked at it and said, turns out I don't need those 3 minutes, big dog, and just wiped the hands, and I got up and walked right back next door.
What an asshole.
Yeah. I felt really terrible. But and it wasn't a knock towards Chris or anything, because as he knew he was getting steamrolled, he was like, all right, hurry up and kill me so I can go back and play UFS or whatever. And so he saw the writing on the wall. And while we were playing, we were talking about that game, so it's not like I was just a shithead. But I felt bad. That wasn't me. I felt terrible. I just straight up felt terrible. But what made it funny was I didn't realize Steven was at the table behind me playing. He just laughs out loud after I say it, and then it just kind of catches on. Anyway, I felt bad for that, and I apologize for that. That was kind of like just nonchalant, kind of devil may care attitude behavior, which we don't condone on this podcast, not in this house. But anyway, anywho, moving on. Then when we went to the last round of Swiss, I played against so right now I'm 3-3 at this point. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna finish 4-3 like I won. Now it's like, oh well, I want to be above 500. You know, I'm kind of getting my head back into it. I stopped drinking the alcohol. I'm still talking to people, having a good time, but I'm like, I'm gonna stop drinking. I'm gonna try to win this last match. I actually get paired against another of the St. Louis guys, Alex. I can't remember his last name, but I know he top 4'd the Petite Cup in Kansas. And this was he was kind of having the same day I was. He's like sitting there, kind of like frumpy face, and I get to the table and I'm kind of frumpy face because now my buzz is wearing off, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, oh, how you doing, man? I was like, I'm doing okay. I can't complain. He's like, how about you? He's like, I'm X3. I'm not that great. He's like, I typically do well at these things. I did well at this event and this event. I was X1 this, and I was like, man, that sucks. I know the feeling. So we kind of had like that heart-to-heart moment. We were like, well, let's just play. Let's see what happens. I steamroll him too. And I was like, oh no. I was like, what? I was like, where was the gas in the first half of the day? But we were talking because this will lead me to the next thing. My tournament was awful. I don't want to talk about how my tournament went. I've left it in the rearview mirror. Mm-hmm. I'm getting ready for Opus 6. I've kind of got a reignited flame in my belly, in the eye of the tiger. Like, I feel like I've fallen off. And now we're going to fix that. We're getting back into it. But, where I was going with that is he's from one of the St. Louis guys. Him, Cody that I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, that whole group are huge fans of ours.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome to see that. Like, Cody came up to us and was asking us, said he listens to our podcast all the time. It was, like, really flattering. Yeah. And, I mean, he's also, like, a really great player, too. Like, the dude won a qualifier and then went undefeated Swiss the next day.
Yeah.
He killed it, man.
He pretty much did well enough to win 2 national qualifiers in, like, a 36-hour period.
Yeah, he thought we were going to – well, I'll get to mine later. He thought we were going to play later, but we never actually clashed. So I kind of wanted to play him just to get the game in. Because, he's a nice guy. I like
great guy.
Good, nice player. It's awesome. So.
But with that being said, he said something to us when the first time he came, because he came up, because we've seen his name pop up on our feeds and stuff like that.
But we had never made him face it.
Right, and now he introduced us. He's like, I'm Cody. I was like, oh, wow, Cody, you comment on our posts, you follow us, thanks for the support. And, he kind of leans in and says, hey, it's Top 8 Johnny here. So, Johnny, how does that make you feel? You are on the scene. You got people asking for you.
I need to show up and meet these people. That's how it is.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to have to do is a nice romantic dinner for 2 at Outback. You can talk about your wants, your needs, your life's desires over, a blooming onion and some of that pumpernickel bread.
You mean the chocolate bread? I was like, you got some of that chocolate bread.
Welcome to Petersburg. Yikes. But, they were a great group of guys. We got to meet a lot of really good people. So, overall, my tournament, the games themselves, it was not my best work. I didn't put my best foot forward as a player. And then I had my one moment of indiscretion that I felt terrible about. But for the most part, I really wanted to focus more on, hobnobbing with the community. But, Adam, you had your time to shine, sir.
Yeah.
Talk to me. That's it. We're turning the mic over to you, sir. Talk to me.
More of the same. I mean, the tournament was awesome. Mm-hmm. Even if I had done bad, it still would have been a great tournament.
I agree with that.
The community for this game is insanely great.
I love it.
Everybody's super cool. There's not too many toxic players that exist. Even when we're at the top tables, we're shooting the shit. It's pretty amazing. I will say the craziest thing that happened to me as far as fans go, is people are recognizing us by voice, and that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because they don't know our faces really unless you watch their YouTube videos, and if you watch YouTube videos, you really only see
it's primarily you. Yeah.
And people were recognizing us by voice and being like, oh hey, and then they would see the playmat and they would know instantly.
Playmats were clutch this weekend.
Yeah.
It was a good idea.
So actually that goes into my first opponent. I sit down. His name's Eric. Really chill dude. And he's shuffling up his cards, and I just start pile shuffling my big double sleeve deck like an asshole.
Yes.
And I took the playmat down, and he goes, oh, you're on RVA Returners, and I said, yeah. He's like, yeah, I listen to your podcast sometimes. It's great. Keep up the good work. And I was like, thanks, man. It's awesome. And Eric, I believe, is from Indianapolis, where Gen Con is. And so we're shuffling up, and we draw our cards, and we start playing, and he starts laying down fire and wind cards, and I start seeing hasty guys, and I'm like, oh boy, we're going to start today off like this, against a deck that I don't want to see, Adele's and Zidanes and
That was like one of the last things you said leaving the hotel, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, because I mean the thing is I can remove like the hasty guys, or hit burst to kill them, but generally if they're playing like just straight haste, they're gonna have more hasty guys. So I'm always like constantly on the back foot until I can. It takes me longer to turn the corner and decks like that.
And just for those who don't know what you were playing.
Oh, I was playing 3-color monsters. So I know we've been harping about the deck like all the time. It's been a deck that I've been playing for at least 3 months now, I guess. You know, I loaned it to Drew that one tournament. That was my deck that he played, and he took when he took the tournament down. I took it up to Pennsylvania and did pretty good on that tournament. But I kind of tried to been holding it a little close to the chest, which didn't work out. I actually had a talk with the Break Zone guy, and we were talking, and he was like, I didn't mean to pull up your spot or anything. I was like, man, it's cool. You know, I gave it to my brother, thinking like, you know, I'll give it to my brother and he'll play the tournament. It'll be fine. And then my brother spikes the tournament, wins the whole thing, and then now I got the Break Zone, put my deck list out, you know, under my brother's name. And we just laughed about it. I was like, hey man, it's cool. Like I thought it was awesome that you spotlighted our deck list. It was great, you know, and it made me realize like, you know, I didn't care that it was, you know, I was trying to hold it close to the chest, and even the build toward the end, like people didn't know all 50 cards I was playing. So, and we even tweaked it all the way up to the event. Me and Curtis, who was also on 3-color monster at the event. He did very well as well.
Also a top, returner family, and also top 16.
Yeah. So back to the match. So we're playing against Firewind aggro. He gets out really early with like a 2-drop Tifa and a legendary Zidane.
Sure.
So I play my backups, take my first few licks of damage, take over to like 3. I play a Bonga Thief. I have 3 backups and a Bonga Thief. At this point, he swings with his Zidane. I have an open Earth mana. I activate my Bonga Thief to block Zidane. He responds by Chaos Walkering my Bonga Thief. I look at my hand. There's a Gal there.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Put Bonga Thief in the break zone. I'll play Gal. I'll get back Bonga Thief. Put Bonga Thief back on the board. I'll activate Bonga Thief. So I reactivate block Zidane, and that like kind of blew him out at that point. He spent so many resources to try to just chaos my Bonga Thief that I just recurred, and all I really pitched was 1 card and played a Gal for free. So that kind of like blew the game out like there, and then I was able to like put monsters down. He just never could recover. I blew up the one to Dell that he played, which was the only thing I was going to get through my stuff. And then that was kind of that. And he talked to me after. He was like, "Hey man, my card shop's right next to where Gen Con is. If you guys want to do a podcast episode when you're in Gen Con, like you're welcome to do it at my store."
Awesome, and Eric, we would love to have you on the episode while we're up at Gen Con. Remember that?
And I told him we could make that happen, and I told him the same thing.
Oh, he's in.
He's in. Welcome to
Eric, you're in.
Really chill dude. Really nice guy. Good player too.
Sure.
So then we go to the second round, feeling pretty good. The deck didn't draw insanely well. So it was like in Pennsylvania, the deck drew crazy good.
Yeah, you had the nuts like all day in Swiss.
And this, I had to do a lot more in Swiss. I didn't really get those nut draws. And then but the next guy I play, so I don't know what he's on. We're shuffling up. We talk to each other. I don't remember his name, and I apologize for that. And I mulligan, and I draw my cards, and I see turn 1 he goes 2 Earth backups, and I go,
love that.
This is going to be a good match.
Don't need those 3 minutes, do you, big dog?
Yeah, and I'm like, so at that point I'm like, okay, well Earth is like really terrible for like 3-color monsters like destroys Earth. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's a terrible match.
You would think that like if they play Wall, it's okay because like you're like, oh, I'm gonna avoid all their EX first, but like you'll get Wall for 1 turn, and then he's gonna die.
I was on Mono Earth, and you were on Mono Earth in the tournament that Drew won. He beat you, then he beat me in finals. It was like, well, shit, I felt hopeless.
It's a bad matchup. You have to hit your EX first on the right monsters in order to have a chance. You typically don't run anything that blocks Cobalt Droid, and if you do, it's like 1 or 2 cards in your deck.
Yep.
Your best answers for monsters is Hecaton shares, and we put summoners in the deck now too. I mean, it was already bad, even though you could share before. Like now we have summoners. The summoners are mainly there for Doom Train.
Oh, for sure.
And like other stuff, but mainly that. So that was not close. I kind of steamrolled him, and he told me, he was like, "Yeah, no one plays that deck here," so I wasn't really prepared for it. And I was like, "Yeah, it's a deck you have to be prepared for." And I also told him, I was like, "Your deck doesn't match well against this deck like at all. Yeah. It's really bad." So then after that, let's go backwards to another story that you forgot actually. So we're staying at the hotel, right?
Oh, we're talking about Ben from breakfast.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're staying at the hotel. we got in really late. Like Matt and I's flights got delayed like 5 times, and we strolled in around 2 in the morning.
Yeah, me and Curtis were up play testing, and I enjoyed our traditional pre-tournament steak and wine dinner.
Yeah, we didn't get to enjoy that. We were up at airports all day.
Yeah.
And so we get in at 2, we go straight to sleep. We're like, let's do the complimentary breakfast in the morning, and we'll walk to the shop, because the shop was like a mile away.
Yeah, it was a nice 30-minute, humid, sweaty walk, but it was fine.
In the morning, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were down there eating breakfast, right? Eating our eggs and our biscuits and whatever. And we're talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, we're
right?
talking about as we're going to, like, because the first stop was like the coffee station, and your boy needed some coffee very badly. Because while you guys flew, me, Curtis, Steven, Kyle DeGraff, who was also a top 16 competitor, and Travis Hart, we all piled into the Avalon and drove down there. That was a 16.5-hour drive. That is a
trek.
Oh man, it is a test of endurance. That is for sure. Because riding bitch with a bunch of dudes.
Going skiing.
You gotta get skinny.
It was the worst. So we need coffee, right? So not to digress, we need coffee. And there's someone at the coffee machine. He's like knocking them back. Like, my man needs the coffee too, apparently. And he sees we're behind him and walks away. But we're talking about Final Fantasy, like you said. And he turns around.
Yep.
And says, "Are y'all here for the event too?"
Yeah.
And we were like, "Yeah, we're up from Richmond." Da 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 da. And he was like, "Cool, I'm here from." I think he said he was from Chicago or.
I don't think it was Chicago. Honestly, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I feel like it was somewhere. It was a few hours away.
Yeah, it wasn't that far away. He had drove there and he was just staying at the hotel.
Okay.
But yeah, we talked to him for a little while. He told us that he didn't really tell us exactly what he was on, but he told us that he was playing Lightning of some sort and that he wasn't running Alcir.
Yeah, no, we were like, oh boy, we love that.
Yeah, so literally, okay, so fast forward back. I'm 2-0.
Yep.
Right? I'm at like one of the top tables, and I sit down. Who strolls up, pulls up the chair? Old Ben from breakfast.
Ben from breakfast.
Nice guy, by the way.
Yeah, awesome guy.
And so he sits down, and he like immediately recognizes me from the hotel. And I'm like, hey man, yeah, what's up? And again, we start shuffling. My hand doesn't look too good, but I have Kamala on my hand.
Oh, then
So I pitch 3. I get to play Kamala. I go to Chaos. I pitch another card. I play Chaos. That's my turn. I have 1 card left in hand. Then I pass to him. He goes turn 1 Kamala, find Chaos, pitch a card, play Chaos.
And we're off.
So then I go next turn. I like ready all my stuff. I draw my cards. I tap 1, pitch 2, play return Chaos to his hand or Kamala to his hand, swing with Kamala.
Sure.
So that's on 1. Next turn he plays Kamala again.
Sure.
Goes search through his deck, gets his second copy of Kamala.
Whoa!
So I'm like, okay, all right, he's
Saucy.
running 2 Kamala, so he must be running something. Like at this point, I'm thinking like it's got to be at least 3 colors.
Sure.
Because you're not running 2 of that unless it's like Earthling. Maybe Earthling runs 2 Kamala sometimes, but I'm thinking it's probably got to be something 3 color.
Sure.
So then I don't think he played another backup at that point. He just like passed again. So then I play a summoner and I pass, and he goes again. He swings with his Commandant, right? I'm like, I'll take this trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I block my Commandant. We trade.
Mm-hmm.
Next turn I start like building up my monsters, yada yada yada. Get like some Kobold droids out, some dragons, and he goes, "Oh, I've never played this card before, but this seems good against your deck." And he plays 2-drop Scarmaglion. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know that card.
Mm-hmm.
Played that card at locals a few times. I like that card."
And it's the S Scarmaglion, right?
Yeah. So I have no forwards at this point, so I go Pamper it.
Beautiful.
He breaks that. I already have no at this point. I'm like swing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on like 4 or 5. He plays Barbarisha the next turn. That doesn't block my stuff, so I swing again. So then the next turn he goes. He plays like 8-drop Golbez for. I think he played it for like 4 or something, somewhere around there. And I'm like, okay, time to Shantoto. So I Shantoto the board, swing through, and then we pay pass it back next turn.
Yep.
So I handed him his first loss.
Mm-hmm.
Then
shout outs to Ben from breakfast, being a hell of a human being.
Yeah, he also made top 16.
Yes, he did.
With Archfiends. So then we go. I go to round 4, so I'm 3-0 at this point, feeling pretty good. And I look at the thing and I'm like, who do I gotta play? And I see Curtis's name next to mine.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, damn it, this sucks. Like I don't want to play the mirror this early.
Room full of 90 people. Well, you both were doing well, so
Yes.
in tournaments like that, if you come with a large group and you start doing well,
Yeah, if we're 3-0 at that point, there's not much.
the odds are not in your favor anymore.
So
for sure.
yeah, so we start playing. I just had a better hand than Curtis. He made 1 misplay, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. But there was definitely, I think there was something that, it wasn't like a blatant misplay.
Sure.
Like, I think we just realized at the end he should have done something different. And yeah, I kind of steamrolled him because I think my draw was just infinitely better and he wasn't able to really catch up. I think I won like 7 damage to 1 or something.
Sure.
So then, and me and Curtis had played that match when we played tested a while that night too. So we played a pretty fair amount. And I think we're probably 2 of the more experienced players on the deck, to be honest, as well as Hunter.
Yes.
So and Sam too. Sam plays the deck a lot as well. So then I go into round 5, and I play Water Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Apologies, I also don't remember the name of the guy. I believe his partner that also played the same list, top 16.
Okay.
So we're playing, and it was mainly Earth cards with like a slight water splash. So again, like
you love that. Yeah.
It's kind of bad. Like he has Gravitron and stuff, and I'm like, I don't really care how big your guys get.
Because he did.
So yeah, I think he also did like maybe 2 damage to me. You know what's funny? You know who took the least amount of damage in that tournament? Me.
That's funny.
That's it was,
the monster deck, which is weird.
So the crazy thing, and I wasn't even really keeping track of my damage. Like I knew I wasn't taking a lot of damage, but when we went to the cut, Cody was undefeated. He was like talking like he was talking the whole time. He's like, yeah, I just haven't taken a lot of damage this tournament. And he sees like, and this is like kind of a flash forward. He's looking at the list, and he comes up to me and he goes, Adam, how did you take less damage than me? Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a good question. I don't know. Can't tell you.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a steamroll game too. Again, like if your deck's mostly Earth, it's if you just don't have a lot of good answers. Like he was trying to cockatrice his own stuff and to save it.
That doesn't feel good.
It was because he actually lost 2 a round because he had no way to save because I fanforded, and I had a Viking in a realm and he had a Vincent. So I'm like, all right, we both sack a forward or no, I don't remember what it was. I don't remember, but there was something where I went to kill. Oh, I Raubon his Vincent. That's what it was. I went to Raubon his Vincent to clear the board so that I could swing through. And he cockatrice his Vincent, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what is he trying to do something? I'm trying to figure out the play, and I go, he can't block, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, swing with realm, and then I swung with the monsters, and that was it.
Yeah.
So then after the Wind Earth was, so at this point I'm 5-0. Yeah, I'm 5-0 at this point. Mm-hmm. 3 undefeateds left. Me, 2 mono ice players, one of which is Cody.
And Cody, and I believe the other was Chris Lopez.
I think that sounds right, yeah. And who I played in the next round. So I felt pretty good there too. So he goes turn 1, 2 backups. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, I don't have to discard anything. Turn 1, great.
You're already ahead.
So I go turn 1, 2 backups.
Mm-hmm.
He goes turn 2, tap 2 backups, play 2 summoners instantly on 4 backups. I'm like, oh boy, this is not gonna be good. Mm-hmm. So then I go to like my 3rd backup. He starts playing forwards at that point. He drops his 5th backup like turn 3 or 4.
Oh man!
So he's already on like 5. Like
you are in trouble at that point.
He's going like straight gas basically at that point. And it was kind of rough. And I felt like I saw all the cards that I usually need in every matchup, but I just like I didn't see the monsters to pressure him. The one monster I did see was Death Gaze, and I misplayed. I tapped my summoner down. Because I was going to untap it with No when I attacked, and he on the stack Death Gaze, already Doom Train my Death Gaze, and that was that. Mm-hmm. I Shantoed his board. I had a Valafor board, but it didn't matter because he was just like keep replaying him. I couldn't really return like Thaumaturgus to his hand because that's bad.
Yeah, that's why Valafor kind of doesn't feel good against mono ice because all those guys have enter the battlefield triggers, and you don't want that.
So he beat me pretty clean, honestly. It was like a build up, like we were both kind of even leading up, and then. Eventually, I just couldn't handle it anymore, and I was just taking like take three, and then it was dead like 3 turns later. So yeah, he beat me. So now I'm like 5-1 at this point.
Sure.
I'm still feeling pretty good. I'm like, because even after that, like I was getting kind of nervous because I remember talking to you and Matt. I was like, is there any way I'm not in at this point? Like I'm 5-1, 7 rounds of Swiss.
And you were high enough up the tables that I think your tiebreakers were good enough. But so you never know, man. Like you start having flashbacks to Charlotte. Boston, I get nervous anytime that like I either want to go undefeated or I want to not make the cut, so I don't have to worry about top 8 math.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens with their software, but like sometimes it's just you're just looking at it, you're like, oh, I don't get what's happening here, but whatever.
We don't know. You just kind of take it.
Yeah, you take it at face value.
Yeah. So then the next round, parents go up, and I get matched up against Hunter.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I got to play both Monster decks and Swiss. But Hunter's kind of like, he sits down and Hunter's like, yeah, I don't think this match matters. I'm pretty sure we're both in. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Because you're both, 5-1?
We're both 5-1 going to the match, yeah. So we sit down and play. Again, I think I drew a lot better than Hunter. And I feel like my deck, like the way mine is built, I can kind of like pressure him throughout the match, and he's kind of building for this big turn.
Sure, big Val for catch good turn.
Yeah, and so I managed to win pretty clean. Like we were kind of drawing cards a while. We thought I was gonna go to deck for a minute, but
Sure.
I was kind of like constantly harassing him, and he really couldn't really harass me. I was able to remove a lot of his Marlboros, which is a big deal in his deck. He kind of relies heavily on his Marlboros. So yeah, after that I'm 6-1.
Yeah, 100% in day 2 at this point.
Yeah, so I'm like at this point it's like what am I seated?
Yeah.
At that point, and I remember going to. Before the stuff was up, I went over and I was talking with Curtis, and Curtis was ended with 2 losses, so he's trying to see if he's still, and he's pretty sure he's in 2. And we're talking about Realm, right? And he's like, because he cut a Realm for a Viking, he's playing 2 Vikings. I'm playing 3 Realms, 1 Viking. That was one of the card differences in our deck. And we're talking about how, and he's like, hey, when you're doing removal or when you're Shantotoing, you should Realm their monster, and you should have seen the look on my face, because I was like, you can do that? I was like, I've been playing this deck for like 3 months, and I didn't even realize Realm could target other people's monsters.
Realm says, choose a monster.
Yeah, so at that point, I'm instantly like, okay, so you can like Realm their monster and then just Shanto the board, get rid of their monster. Like you can kill Cleone that way.
I feel like that's the big one.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it didn't really come up, but that just like blew my mind that was a play that I didn't realize I could do, and I felt like I should have known. So I felt kind of like an idiot. So yeah, then they post up the standings and they start reading everybody's off. Cody undefeated in Swiss, so he's the number 1 seed. Chris, my 1 loss, the other Chris, was a 2 seed, and then I was a 3 going in. So I'm kind of just listening to see who I have to play, because at that point I know I have to play the 14 seed, which was Aaron. So then another cool thing about this event, this is the first time that they revealed deck lists the night before.
Yeah, this was huge, by the way.
Which is awesome, and I hope that they do that at every event.
Yes.
It makes it less fair, like it makes it more fair to play on stream, because like now everybody can see everything. It gives you transparency and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So we instantly are like, well, okay, we're definitely testing tonight. And me and Curtis are make the cut. We'll test with and Kyle as well.
Yep.
And so we definitely want to test our matchups against everything.
And Kyle's on mono ice.
Yep.
Yeah. He had a really good. He finished 5-2. Had a really good weekend of cards as well. So.
And so then we ate our Kansas barbecue.
Yes, we did. The shout outs to the Z-Man sandwich. That thing was gnarly.
It was really good.
It was so good. It was. Johnny, do you like brisket?
Yeah.
Do you like cheese?
Love it.
Do you like fried onion pieces?
Yeah.
Do you like barbecue sauce?
Yeah.
My man. Then you love the Z-Man.
Z-Man.
It was really good, and there was a line like out the door.
Yeah.
That place is really popular. So so we get our food. Food's really good. And the bracket's up at this point. We're back at the hotel.
Yeah, they were up before, almost like before we left.
They were, but I don't think we had really looked at the bracket yet. So like we had seen, I looked at the deck list before I even left the event.
Sure.
So I'd seen that I was playing against Winter.
Yeah, because they actually came up while I was doing my interview with with Cody and the St. Louis guys. And by the way, I had a lot of fun doing that. I enjoyed like kind of doing some candid interviews, talking to people. We'll get more about it because I did a lot more on day 2. I know I interviewed you. I interviewed Curtis and Kyle on the car ride home. So it was a good time. But so now we're back at the hotel. Day 2, we're preparing. Y'all are preparing for day 2.
So we're looking.
I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, so we're looking at the deck list that we have to like make, because we're trying to like pile our cards, and we still had to proxy stuff because none of us brought all our cards to Kansas City. So Curtis puts together like a Wind Earth list for Kyle to test against, and we're playing against it. And then I'm looking at the Wind Earth list that I have to play against, which is Aaron. And I'm like, man, he runs no dot aluminum Cactuar. I was feeling like really good. I was like, I feel like those are 2 cards that deal with me very well, because if he sticks with dot aluminum, he gets Cactuar out, and I can't deal with it. I can't activate my Kobold ever. And if he gets 2 Cactuars online and manages to stick it, I can't ever play any monster. I can't activate any monster; they just die. But I'm like, okay, so I don't have to worry about that problem. So I'm looking. He's got like non-amigo. I'm like, okay, I'm not really worried about the mill, and I can usually block her. So I'm looking at like Legendary Gestola, and I'm like, this is my problem. Yeah. This is the card that's going to be my problem, and I'm gonna have to. And he had like 5 dark cards in his deck and no chaos. So like, I'm thinking he's probably gonna have some awkward hands.
Sure.
So Curtis and Kyle play. I know Kyle was like, I never want a match. Like Earthwind's gonna destroy me, kind of thing. So we sat down to play mine, and I think me and Curtis played like 5 or 6 matches, and I never lost.
Yeah.
A single match.
It wasn't even close, was it?
It was never close.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm like, okay, so kind of rewind back, we're looking at the bracket, if I beat my opponent, like right next to me is Hunter versus Curtis.
Ugh.
So like all three of the monster decks are, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's just how seeding works. So it's not like I'm like saying it's unfair or anything. It just kind of sucks that's the way it fell.
The monster decks had to eliminate each other.
So I'm like, okay, I gotta play Hunter or Curtis. So me and Curtis like play against each other a bunch of times, and we go about 50-50. So I'm like, okay, if I play Curtis, we might as well flip a coin.
Yeah.
At this point. So we get in the next day. They do our lottery deck checks. Everything's fine. And I sit down to play Aaron. Terrific dude. Dude's awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. He talks to me. He was like, hey man. He's like, your deck's great. I'm sure I'm gonna have a hard time against you. I think you have a favorable matchup. And I was like, yeah, I think I do too.
Oh, he's inside your head now. He's in your head,
he's
Charles.
He's a really nice guy. I mean, I still think my matchup is favorable, to be fair. And he said he had a bunch of time to play against the monster deck. But they had talked through a lot of their lines and a lot of plays the night before. And I was like, hey man, if we're here, we're already doing something right. So like everybody that's here deserves to be here. And I told him that. And I was like, let's have a good game, right? So we roll off. I get to go first. First game, pretty close. But I'm in control most of the game. He plays an archer. I have two backups. I have Chaos. I have Nona. Okay.
Oh, we know what's happening next.
So I don't think you do. So we're swinging, right?
The sauce.
And so there's he started to pressure me, but I have enough monsters to kind of get through.
Sure.
So he goes archer, and I go okay. He goes, I'll archer your Chaos.
Yep. Takes away your color fixing.
And I was like, no, but I have no, and I have 2 Cobalt Droids. So I'm like, okay. So I put my Chaos in the break zone, and then the next turn I play Chaos Walker on his Histola, and I'm like, all right, I'll activate swing, game. And he looks at me and he goes, man, I should have archered the no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I only had 2 backups. Yeah. That was the only way I win the game. I don't win the game off Chaos.
What the hell am I thinking?
So yeah, he's like, yeah, I definitely misplayed there. And I was like, yeah, you definitely did. And so we go to game 2. Game 2, I was able to get some of the stuff I needed. He Zidane me every game.
Sure.
Turn 2, Zidane every game. I think he got like a unit or some backup every game out of turn 2, which was insane for him. It helped him out a lot. And then so game 2, he gets the Zidane again. He plays another Histola. He plays the Emperor behind the Histola. I'm kind of locked out at this point. I managed to Chaos Walker, a Histola, and then Shantoto is board, which is expensive, but I had to do it. He plays like another Histola immediately after that. I managed to deal with that one. He plays like a 3rd, and then he gets a minor back. He plays a 4th, and I believe he played like 5 Histolas that game. So he was in control most of that game. He kind of takes that one pretty clean. Second game, he's kind of in control again, but he's sitting on 2 backups for the most part. I think he did play a Star Sybil, and he did break that, so he had 3 at one point. I had pinged him for a few points of damage. He's got me on like 4 at this point, or 5. And I'm basically on my last turn, and I hadn't seen the Shantoto the whole game. I'd seen 1 hit damage, so I had 2 in my deck. I'm like, all right, well, the only way I win this game is if I have enough to cast this Chaos Walker in my hand on Histola, and I'm able to cast a Shantoto, and I need a draw to get it. So I tap 2 backups, play an Alexander, ready one of the backups, draw a card. No Shantoto. I pitch a wind card, play Mion, return realm to my hand, draw a card. No Shantoto. The card I drew was a Viking, so I tap 1, pitch a card, play a Viking, draw a card. Drew 5 cards that turn, no Shantoto.
Ouch.
So at that point, I just kind of drop what I can. He slams his Emperor the next turn, and that was a wrap. Couldn't activate my monsters to block. He swims out, game. Wow. So I congratulate him. I was like, hey man, good game.
That's tough. Histola did work.
Yeah, I was like, you played really well. You had the cards when you needed it. I was like, hope you keep making it further. Aaron went on to get second.
Yeah, because he had played
he plays Hunter the next round. Yeah, because
Hunter beat Curtis. And then he did the exact same thing to Hunter, because remember Hunter coming over and saying something about like 9 Histolas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good card against our deck.
It is. Curtis took out a lot of stuff.
It's really hard to get around her, and like Emperor is normally not a problem because we have so much removal, but you put Emperor behind that card, and it's a problem.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
So I mean, and that's what he did, and it was really smart, and he played his ass off. So congrats to him, man. He got his qualifier. Yep. He had a hell of a day. So after that, kind of licking my wounds a little bit, I guess. I was a little disappointed because I did want to qualify, but at the same time, I'm like, I played well.
Yeah.
I'm still planning on qualifying. I
absolutely.
got chances in the future. I'm good to go.
Yeah, so we literally had a flip flop of Boston. I lost my top 16 match. You went 4-3. Here we are in Kansas City. But your Swiss record was one loss better than mine.
Yeah,
so, but
same.
still.
And so at the end of the day, I finished 9th.
Yeah.
They put it up, and they, based on how all the records and stuff.
Absolutely.
I finished 9th place,
which is awesome. Hell of a job.
Yeah. And a lot of people were telling me on Twitter and stuff too. Like Okimoto got with me on Twitter. He's like, something to sniff at. You'll get there.
Absolutely.
Sam said the same thing. It's like you'll get your qualifier.
Yeah.
So after that, I played UFS for a little while actually.
I'm trying to get those sweet Mega Man play mats.
I can't play that game.
It's wacky. There's a lot of zones and a lot of keywords.
But yeah, I'm not gonna really get too much into that. So after that, Hunter comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, Adam, you want to draft? We're looking to try to get 8 people, and we're falling short." And I'm like, "You know what? Why not? Let's draft."
Turns out we do pretty good at drafting at Crystal.
So the way they did it was 2 Opus 1, 2 Opus 5 packs. I'm like,
which is
right,
awesome,
cool.
By the way.
I'm like, cool. So I sit down. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna play for fun. I don't, take cards that I get, whatever. Crack my first Opus 1 pack, fetch it through. I see the foil light cloud. I'm like, I'll take that. Pass
Beautiful.
it. So I pass it around. I think a Minwoo gets passed to me. I take that. So I start like getting water, or is what I start to draft.
Sure.
So I got like Lenistas, and I got Minwoo. I get a H Yuna at some point. So we're doing all that. I get to the last pack, which is they went Opus 1, Opus 5, Opus 5, Opus 1. So third pack.
That's weird.
So it was the third pack. So I crack the third pack, shuffling through. I see a legendary in there, and I go over. It's a Wool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, guess I'm buying sleeves because not hard shuffling.
Oh, and you're not gonna bridge shuffle those things like some goddamn street magician?
So I snap take the Wool, pass it over. I ended up getting like a foil Opus 1 Red Mage. I take that just because I'm like, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was pretty good. I actually didn't have a half bad deck.
Mm-hmm.
So I go up to the desk because I'm like, all right, I gotta get sleeves. I'm like, hey man, give me the cheapest sleeves you got. He goes, you want Brazil? I was like, give me Brazil.
Give me Brazil.
So he gives me these like these sleeves with the Brazilian flag.
That might be the name of the episode.
And so I sleeve it up and I go to play against Hunter. Hunter's my first round opponent in draft.
Did they do it the same way, or did they actually pair you off?
No, they didn't. They paired us off, and it wasn't single limb. It was like a Swiss. But
oh wow!
I thought it was single limb. So I'm playing Hunter, and it was a close match. Hunter, it was 6-5 because he only has 6 damage. So he beats me 6-5. But he played like He had like Warrior of Light, Master Monk. He had like standard units of Warrior of Light. I'm like, I can't get through that. So yeah, he beat me, and I'm like, good stuff, Hunter. Scoop up my cards, put them in my box. I'm like, I'm gonna go Gunsling.
Yep.
So I go play Gunslinger. I beat the Water Lightning Knights.
Yeah.
Get my 2 foils, Japanese foils. I think I got like a Goliath and something else.
Yeah, Goliath is hot. Goliath is real hot.
And then Hunter's friend, what's his name?
Harrison.
Harrison starts calling my name, and so I turn around. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "We gotta play and draft." And I go, "I'm out with single limb, right?" He goes, "Oh no, it's Swiss." I'm like, "You got it." I'm like, "I'm gonna keep gunslinging." So I get back in line, and I played the Fire Lightning Haste guy.
Yeah.
And he got me to 6 damage extremely fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I managed to like swing the board back, but I had nothing left. I have like 1 card in my hand. My backups are tapped out. I have nothing on the field, no monsters to activate. Mm-hmm. He has nothing on the field. He has 2 backups. He draws 2 cards, and he puts them face down. He puts his hands over him. He goes, haste. And he looks at me. He says, haste. Because if he gets haste, he wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks up his cards. He goes, no haste. And so then I started like turning the corner, and he just couldn't do anything. So I won that match, and then I got a Japanese foil 5-drop Vincent, which was pretty cool.
Sweet.
So
go with the sweet promo that everyone got for participation.
And so then I go over to RV because at this point it's getting kind of late. My flight's at 6:30, and I'm like, hey RV, I'm probably gonna have to catch a flight soon. Can I get my top 16 pricing? So he's like, yeah, sure. He hands me the Dissidia promos and an extra Vincent promo, which is what you got if you got 16 through 9.
Sure.
And then I'm like, all right, I'll go sit down at Wolves Inn for a little while and jam until I have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started jamming with this guy. We played like 3 straight matches because there wasn't really a line for Wolves Inn.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of like it wasn't as like prepared as the Boston one.
No, I don't know if that's the right way to put it. I felt like with the Boston one, not only being the first one, but also being at a convention hall, that like people were, kind of like you're in a destination spot,
Mhm.
like you're kind of downtown next to you're kind of like if you're there for the weekend, you're coming back to day two. But we're at a neighborhood card shop. People, if all the local people that were there, probably like, I'm going home.
Yeah. So not a lot of people were playing the Wolves in. I mean, there was a fair amount. It wasn't like
Oh, yeah.
empty.
Yeah, I went 7-2 on my Wolves.
So I'm playing.
Yeah, so it was
I played 4 matches. I think I was 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the last person at the table. So
Yeah, we all got you stole a box.
And you.
Yeah.
We're all there, and so they're like, all right, everybody's last table gets a Stola box. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I like messaged Adam, I got a present for you.
Mm-hmm.
So he had wanted one. And so I had 2 at this point because I got one for Aaron. And after that was kind of when I had to dip out and push my plane back. So it was a great tournament. It was a lot of fun. I tried to do a little bit of everything. I drafted. I did Wolves in. I did Gunsling. Gunsling was really fun. Those Hobby Japan dudes,
dude, they know what's up.
Legit.
Yeah, they know what's up.
All my matches were pretty tight with them. I was undefeated in Wolves in.
I played 2 at 1-1. I beat the Haste.
Yeah.
But I lost to the Warrior of Light deck, which that thing just revved my engine. I lost because I can't do math, and for some reason I looked at Warrior of Light and I was like, well, I gotta really think this out because he's gonna reduce 2K of everything I do. But I start with the Celis swing to kind of start the chain going. In my head, I'm still thinking Celis is going to do 9K because I've got Duplar, got not. She's going to do 7K. So I just shit the bed from Jump Street there, and then I lost because it was a close game until that point. Then I was like, well, you got it.
Yep.
None of my foils were pretty noteworthy.
Okay.
Nothing, but they were awesome. They're Japanese foils, so I love them.
Yeah, I kept on mine too.
Yeah.
So then I had to leave. Sam Prime ended up taking the advantage.
Yeah. Shout outs to old Sam tonight
He
for
played his ass
crushing.
off,
Yeah,
man.
he crushed. Especially when the night before he was saying during testing that he was like 0% chance of winning.
I will say
16 match.
I'll give a shout out to this too. So after I qualified for top 16, he pulled me aside. He was like, "Look, he's like, I always do this thing, and after I do it, I always like meet my goal." He's like, "You gotta go to Taco Bell, and you gotta get these like cinnamon. I don't even remember what they're called.
Cinnamon delights, man.
Yeah,
they're
cinnamon
good.
delights." He's like every time I eat them after I make a cut, he's always do good. So he went and got a cinnamon delights, and I'm like, "How about he go get Korean barbecue?" Or not Korean, Kansas City barbecue. And I'm like, so we got our barbecue. I'm like, I'm not hungry enough. I'm not going to try to find a Taco Bell. So, but he did his. It obviously worked.
You know what? I think if we'd have gotten the frozen custard instead of...
maybe that's
I blame myself for that because that barbecue, within like the hour, I'm laying on the floor asleep. I was passed the hell out.
It's all good. But yeah, like big ups to him. He played amazing. Glad he finally got his next spot. I'm sure Zach will get one as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna get ours. Like, it sucks. Like, I feel like like you had a great tournament. You've been consistently doing better. I feel like I've kind of fallen off a little bit. I've just been busier. I got Dominaria. I got back into Magic a little bit, and that's took away a little bit of my time. But now, like, all right, I need to get my eyes back on the prize and get my head out of my ass. Because I'm sitting here thinking, oh yeah, he's gonna Archer your chaos. Like,
so
why would I think that? Because I've become a bad player, Adam, is what's happened. I've let myself go.
That's not true. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of our experience for that.
It was awesome.
I'll end it on like a few shout outs, I guess.
Sure.
Like Eric, we're definitely going to take you up on that offer.
100%. 100% we'd love to have you.
Sam, congrats for winning.
Yeah.
Zach played Zach.
It was actually really nice meeting Zach for the first time in person too. He was real nice guy. Like Choker Bros can't say enough good about him.
Cody's probably the nicest dude I've ever met in my life.
Man, have you ever looked into his eyes?
I have not.
I'm going to.
But he's a really
he's
awesome
got that
dude.
Zach Morris hair, Johnny.
Oh, man.
Johnny, it's gonna be the most romantic dinner for 2 you're ever gonna have.
All the guys from all the scenes that we met.
Yeah.
Really awesome dudes. Break zone dudes, awesome to talk to. I mean, we talked about the meta for a while. We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
RB, as always, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Does way too much for the US scene, to be honest. Like, he kills it too.
Yeah.
The Hobby Japan guys were awesome. And everybody was amazing, man. It was
just a great time. Yeah, and we said it after Boston. We're gonna say it again. If you have the chance to get out to a Crystal Cup, go. It's a lot of fun. You're gonna meet a lot of really cool people. Again, it goes back to this community being very, very open and non-toxic. And with that being said, I think that's how we're going to wrap it up. Once again, Adam, congratulations. You got more shout-outs? Oh, we have to do it.
I got like one more thing before we are going to shut down the studio in a second. So first off, I just want to say that after now that Kansas City's over, we're gonna be ramping up our content.
Yeah, we've actually got a lot of stuff in the works right now.
So our podcasts are gonna continue weekly. We're gonna record another one this Sunday because we just kind of get back in because this one's late because we were in Kansas City over the weekend and I didn't want to bring all my stuff on a plane. So we're recording this one now. We're gonna record another one Sunday.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to record a lot more videos. We got Adam and the other guys at Pocket. They're recording stuff where that stuff's gonna be on our YouTube. Look out for that soon. He's going to be streaming tournaments every week, I think. I wish I could do that on Tuesdays. It's just a lot to lug every Tuesday. If we had a Friday tournament, I wouldn't mind because I wouldn't care what time I get home.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about gauging interest and see if we can maybe switch it to a night where because we all work early Wednesday morning, and because we typically on our locals we don't play out top 4. We're like, all right, top 4 cut 1 through 4. Here you go. Here's your prizes because we'd be here till like midnight.
Yeah. So there's that contest.
Yeah,
look out for that. I'm gonna make a post Thursday, and it's gonna be a question on the Facebook page. I have a Gleam set up where you're gonna have to subscribe to Facebook, subscribe to YouTube, and then you get bonus points if you subscribe to Twitch and Twitter.
Yeah. So, by the way, Adam, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody why we're doing this contest? We've hit the milestone on both 100 followers on the Facebook page. And we're over 100, and now we're over 100.
I think we're at 112 on the Facebook page and 130 or 120 on the YouTube channel.
Which is awesome. The golf clap, which is awesome. Guys, we definitely can't thank you enough. Thank you for the support. That's huge. And, we want to keep these contests rolling, so please keep following our content. Like I said, we got some really dope stuff in the works, and, a lot of collaborations coming up. We're actually doing triple duty on the podcast this week.
We still got to play the Final Fantasy 7 starter versus.
Oh, I know. Dude. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I really wish I hadn't had Dominaria get its hooks, sink its hooks into me, man, because that was a lot of time that we could have been doing those videos and stuff like that. But like cardboard crack, man, it gets you every time. But man, we're gonna do that. We still need to give that save it away. Like no one has stepped forward. Maybe we'll just throw
it in with the prize.
Yeah, we can just throw it in with this one.
Maybe we'll just do another giveaway. I mean, that's a foil. Or the other people that entered. Maybe it's fair to other people that entered to just do a drawing from that. But it's been so long. Maybe we'll revisit it. But that was our first giveaway. I think maybe
this time with the Gleam, you're required to put your email in so I can contact you.
Yes.
So I think I made the mistake last time where it was just like a comment. It was really hard to reach.
And also it was kind of a trial run. We were just testing the waters, and now that we've kind of got and that's the thing. We really want to focus on the content, get things more ironed out. And I was telling people up in Kansas, like I kind of want the RVA returners page to kind of become like the MTG goldfish of the Final Fantasy community. I want to have our podcast content up there. I want to have deck techs up there. I want to have videos where like. We take a deck, we brew a sick deck, or we like. I can't. We're doing it again because we forgot about one of the coolest decks of the weekend.
Oh,
our man Corwin Atkins. Yeah. He was playing that fire water like super synergistic aggro tempo.
I don't think we should get too much into it because there's a video on our Facebook page. Yes. Check that out. It was awesome. Yeah. Good interview by you and Corwin explaining his deck. That deck is easily my favorite deck.
Oh, hands down. And that's why I wanted to mention
fire water standard.
No. It had Rangers.
But it's more like a fire water, like pingy tempo aggro deck.
Yeah, but that was really cool. But we want to take decks like that, do a deck tech on it, play like 5 games on Octagon, come back with a wrap up video, something like that. Like that's the kind of content we're looking to do, so we can get our Octagon grind on, and we'd love to play with anybody. Like I said, I'm going in the hyperbolic time chamber. I feel like I've fallen behind, and I'm going to be grinding really hard on Octagon. So anybody who wants to play, I'm going to have like scheduled nights where I'm playing, and it's going to be open to anybody. So,
same here.
So I mean, you'll get to play with Chris Adams and top 8 Johnny. I'm more excited to play with Johnny than I am with me.
Yeah, so I think that's it for real this time.
Yeah, for real this time. I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you again so much. Feel free to share this with your friends, anybody who's curious about this game and content. Newer players, there's a lot of content to check out. Please check us out. Please check out Choke Bros. Check out Josephir.
Emo Tempest.
Esper. You've got the Crystal Tower.
Yeah.
The Young Unity.
Young Unity.
Squat.
So we're gonna fade away on this. We had Steven on tilt all weekend by playing Gucci Gang, and Curtis explained it properly that is the equivalent, like the mumble rap equivalent of I am Groot. So I look at that at a whole new light. So, but we're just gonna fade away on that.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.